heal as a team, we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen, believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's just a game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, November 16th, 2011. This is Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Popeye, from FederalJack.com. And today, as we have been doing since, I would say, Sunday now, Joe? I'm joined by my buddy, Joe Joseph. I hung out at his show yesterday. We hung out on WTF on Monday. And I hung out on
my show on Sunday.
And show on Sunday.
Now I'm on this show. Yeah.
Joe is practicing for the future when we might actually have to do more than just 3 days a week, you know?
Yeah, just seeing how we can handle it.
Yeah, we're trying to test ourselves and see how it is. Just in case one day we get a bug up our butts and decide to do something. Maybe. dot. I'll leave it at that. I'll get everybody be like, huh? What? What did he just say? And I won't give any more information out for months.
Oh my goodness!
I'll mimic what they do with marketing techniques. I'm only kidding, people.
Ken in the chat room just said people are starting to talk about you two.
Everybody talks about us.
I was going to say, when don't they talk about us? Well, I have to say, man, they were jam-packed. And I have to say, if there's one person that they actually talk more about, Bob Tuskin.
Bob Tuskin. Bob. Bob is a magnet for that stuff.
Oh, man, it's the hair. It's the static electricity, you know? It's like, it gets charged, and then they draw to him.
He has a shirt that says, "If you're a troll, please come F with me." And there's a big neon sign above his afro that says that, too. It's probably the afro has something to do with it as well.
Yeah, probably so. It's a Jerry curl.
I got an article. No, this is... I should save this for Monday's show, for WTF. But no, seriously. And I didn't... I didn't prep you with telling you what this article was about beforehand. I'll send you a link so you can play with it if you want. But it is gnarly to say the least. Now, Jules, our IT lady, and you guys have heard her. She's also a co-host on Jimmy X's show. Jules sent me this, and it's probably a good reason why none of you should ever move to West Virginia. And if you live in West Virginia, you should really move out. The title of the article, yeah, dude, it's on the smoking gun, but the title of the article is "Woman Utters Line Never Previously Recorded in a Police Report." Okay? And I will... Oh, yeah, that's how it's going to be. Okay? So here we go. The listeners are going to love this.
Oh, I'm going to mute.
Yeah. The West Virginia woman, okay, she's 41. She's facing assault and weapons charges after waving a knife at two men who declined her demands to engage in sexual conduct at a motor inn. Apparently, her and her estranged husband both live at the 77 Motor Inn. Okay? Good weekly place, place where you pay like $100 or $50 a week to stay. So they apparently live a couple doors down from each other. So they're married, but they're estranged from one another. They're separated. So she comes down, all drunk, and she says to her husband and the other guy, "Oh, this is going to be so... this is going to be vile." So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have kids in the room, you might want to get them to leave. I'll give you about 3 or 4 seconds to shoo them out. All right? Because I'm going to repeat what she said. I'm not going to repeat the swear words, but I'm going to repeat what I can repeat. It's vile enough. She showed up at the door, asked her husband and the other guy to, quote, "eat my pussy," unquote. At this point, her husband was like, "I'm good, I don't want none." Walks away. She proceeds to get naked. The other guy's like, "Sure, I'll join in. No problem." He got with it, and this is what he told the police. This is quoted in the police report. Quote, "He became overwhelmed by horrible vaginal odor emitting from the female." End quote. Okay? And then he's like, "No." This is where she freaks out and pulls out a folding knife and... This is when she pulls out a folding knife and starts to swing it around and, at both the men who are obviously throwing their hands up and like, whoa, whoa, And she says, quote, "Somebody's going to eat my pussy or I'm going to cut your effing throat." End quote. They arrested her. All the more reason, ladies and gentlemen, to never go to West Virginia.
Ding, 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 ding.
I figured I'd throw that there in the beginning because,
like a pig.
Well, I wanted to get that out there. I didn't want to save that thing and have it festering, especially if Joe and I get serious about something and into something. Well, I don't want to, bring this up. So I figured I would bring it up right in the beginning, but it needed to be brought up because, see, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be armed with a firearm, for one, because you never know who's going to pull a knife on you. And two, you should never go to West Virginia and never, ever, 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 ever hang out at the 77 Motor Inn.
That's just, dude, that is deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. The fact that you read that.
What I love about Ken just put in the chat room, "Thanks for the picture, Papa."
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. That's something he'll never forget. He'll probably have nightmares tonight.
You guys are in the chat room and you click on the link. You get to see what her mugshot looks like. Look, you know what? I thought it was an hysterically funny story, so I was like, I don't care. I'm going to share this on air. Sometimes you need a little humor and levity, and since other shows hosts don't talk about, they won't say certain words, and I know I will. I'm not afraid of saying the P word. So... I won't repeat it again because I know there's probably women listening that are like, Popeye, my ears. And I know I'm going to hear it in the YouTube archive. Someone's going to say, "Did you have to say it?"
Yeah, it always happens. You always get those people. It's like, come on already. Good Lord, man. So anyway.
Anyway, we'll get some serious going now. But I thought I would amuse the listeners with that story. If you want to see it, just go to the Smoking Gun
Yeah, I put the link in the chat room twice, just to make sure that everybody
don't
move to West Virginia.
Joe lives in West Virginia, ladies and gentlemen.
No, sir. No, sir.
What's the matter? You didn't want to move there?
No, sir. I do not want to move there. That was a short first segment. Between your 10-minute intro and that article, man, that made it quick. Intro
and the breaking news out of West Virginia that we had to get to. That segment went fast. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. We're going to break. Get back, I promise. No more West Virginia stories.
No more West Virginia stories.
Stand up and say 9/11 was an inside job. They lie, they scam, they cheat and steal. They plot, they fund, they act, it's real. They rock, they
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And Joe's fired up about something. And I told him that tonight he could go off on it. And I would let him, I wouldn't stop him. And then we decided that it would even be better if we just played the whole clip of the thing and let Joe tear it apart. So I'm going to bring up this clip here of Gerald Celente. And apparently Mr. Celente does not take his own advice. Joe, why don't you tell the listeners who maybe aren't aware of what happened to Gerald, tell them just what happened.
Okay, folks. So, anybody that listens to my show understands that I always talk about the people that do as I say, not as I do, especially in alternative media, because it really chaps my hide that, here they are, oh, we're looking out for you, like, or even mainstream media. Let me give you an example. Glenn Beck, I have it on extremely high authority that in the next 2 weeks there's going to be an event unlike anything we've seen before. And I can't tell you who told me, but you need to prepare. So visit emergencyfoods.com for this and that. And it's just like, what's your real motivation behind this? It's just that fake. So anyway, in comes Gerald Celente, who all of a sudden has a rather long shaft up his tuchus. And why? Well, because he decided to do business with MF Global, who is run by John Corzine. And he ended up losing a crap load of money buying paper gold. Imagine that. Yes, make sure you take physical delivery.
And just so people know, Corzine is the governor of New Jersey.
Now, granted, he's buying futures, and eventually you end up taking physical delivery of it, but there still is that gray area where you don't. And second, he says, well, I've been doing this since 1978. Well, when you play with fire, chances are you're going to get burned eventually. And who's he doing business with? The same people he rails against all the time. The dirty, lousy banksters. And you can't tell me that there is another way for him to get physical gold. See, once you find out, like Anti-Tyranny News says, it was an independent company when he first started with them. Probably so. But once you find out that MF Global bought them out, see you later. I'll find another company. I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to do business with you, Mr. Corzine, you frickin' prick.
Well, here, I'll play the clip from Trends Research.
Oh, by all means, go ahead.
And then I'll stop it periodically to get your thoughts on what he said. And, because Joe's rather fired up because he was a little disappointed in Gerald that this happened. And yes, whatever, it's really Gerald's money. He can do whatever he wants. But again, like Joe said, a lot of these people do as I say.
Don't cry when you deal with wolves. Right, exactly. When you're dealing with wolves, don't cry when you get bit.
Exactly. So here's the beginning of Celente's clip.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. Tuesday, November 15th, and here are some of today's trends in the news. I want to give you an MF update. You know what MF stands for. And I got F'd by MF. The people are putting on the internet how I got shafted, and they're really, I'm a baloney artist, that I've been telling people to buy possession, and I'm not. They don't understand what's going on. So,
see, he's talking to you, Joe, so just so you know. Now,
I know.
I'm going to let him go.
Go ahead. I'll tell you when to stop.
I'm going to make this really clear. I trade futures. I've been trading futures since 1978.
Okay, stop there. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here's the crux of my problem is this. Okay, I've been doing it since 1978. And you know, like Anti-Tyranny News said in the chat room, he started out with a small independent company, and then eventually MF Global bought them out. And here he is talking about, he always rails against the banksters. The banksters this, the banksters that. Him, you know, Alex Jones too. Now, Alex Jones didn't get burnt. And I don't know if he deals with these banks, but Mr. Celente, let me tell you something. Practice what you preach, bro. Really, it comes down to that. Practice what you preach. If you know the banksters are dirty, rotten scoundrels, don't deal with them. You know, I'm sure you can go down to a gold bullion dealer or a silver dealer, and okay, you know, you may have to buy like $10,000 at a time. You know, we not big spenders. These peeps over here. But it's better than losing six figures. Good Lord, man. Go ahead. Keep going.
Trade futures. They buy oil in anticipation of what the price is going to be in the future. So I had future contracts. In my account, I had enough money to take delivery on future contracts that were due this month, actually December futures. So when December rolled around, I would take the money out of my account and take delivery on the gold. But I got F'd by MF. They took my money.
Hold that. Stop. They took his money, right? Okay. Yeah, they took his money. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. You're dealing with wolves, you know? I think the old saying is you F with the bull, you get the horns. Well, hey, so sad, man. Sorry. Hey, at least you're a good example. I think you did everybody a good service. Perhaps, maybe, and this is something I'm going to put out to all you people out there, right? Perhaps maybe you can learn a thing or two. Maybe this is like a public service he's doing to people. Banks are operated on the premise of fractional reserve banking. That means that when you put money into a bank, then they take that money and they lend it out tenfold, at least tenfold. So when you have a banking problem, like we have in Europe, and there's an article on Drudge today that says, oh, well, USA banks could be affected by the contagion of Europe. Well, what does that tell you? Get your freaking money out of the banks. Go to a credit union. Do something like that, but get it out of the big banks. There's already a movement underway to do this, but you should not have any savings in a major bank right now. And God forbid, don't buy paper gold or futures. You know, okay, so you can end up saving a couple of bucks if you do it. Look at Gerald. He took it up the tookus because he was trying to save a couple of bucks. Get physical delivery and do it now. Don't wait. And secondly, don't invest in gold and silver. Don't be a bum like that. Invest in brass and lead. Look at what's going on with Wall Street. Look what's going on tomorrow with Occupy Wall Street. The police are preparing for tens of thousands of protesters to converge on New York City tomorrow. And nothing may come of it, but something may come of it. And you should be ready for it. And you can't throw a silver bar at them. What the hell's that going to do?
Let us never tolerate...
No, but you can throw a box of donuts at them.
Yeah, you probably could do that. You might distract them for a couple of minutes.
Malicious lies that attempt to shift the blame away from the terrorists themselves.
I hate it.
Away from the guilty.
Joe, breathe in, breathe out. Goose fraba, my brother.
Heart palpitating. Heart palpitating.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to break. Stay tuned. We'll be back. When we come back, more of Joe versus Gerald Celente.
Many taking a nap. In fact, they would fake an attack to make way for the Patriots.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get back into playing the Gerald Celente clip and letting Joe have at it. But before I do, somebody mentioned Jim Trafficant in the chat room. I just want to tell you that before you go around liking Jim Trafficant, you should go read Kathy O'Brien's book, The Transformation of America. I promise you, you won't look at Trafficant the same way again. Let's just say he was in charge of testing the girls at charm school. Let's go look that up. Getting back into it, Joe, I'm going to play Mr. Celente here, and I'm going to let you have at it. Look, you're fired up, and everybody has a right to their opinion. So I believe the least I could do is give you a platform to pontificate.
Man, I appreciate that. I love pontification.
Well, here we go.
Okay, very good.
Now remember what's going on here. John Corzine, the sleazeball senator and former governor of New Jersey, bankrupted the company.
Okay, stop.
A former gold...
You know his character, you dummy. You douchebag. Come on now. This is the way this guy operates. He operated it when he bankrupted New Jersey, and he operated it when he bankrupted MF Global. Why are you dealing with this scumbag? It's awful, man. Here. Let me give you a little investment advice from somebody who doesn't have a pot to piss in when it comes to investing in gold and silver. And even if I did, I wouldn't do it. Think about the things that you can trade. Look at what's going on around us in the world. You have chaos and confusion run amok. It's nutty out there. The banks are not going to stay in their present form for much longer. The debt-based monetary system, the scam that it is, cannot continue to be propagated for much longer. And gold and silver in and of itself is another fiat currency. Even though people might say otherwise, at the end of the day, it's a hunk of metal. Okay, it's shiny. Makes you oogly. Yeah, ooh, look at that. It's so pretty and shiny. No. Invest in things that you can use. Like food. Like seeds. Get things that you can barter. Like hooch. If it cannot sustain life, it's fiat. It's as simple as that. And think about it. People are going to want to it's going to be so depressing. The first thing that they're going to do is say, man, I wish I could get my hands on a bottle of whiskey or some scotch, And you got it. Heck, build a still. Learn how to make wine. It's cheap. You could do it. But don't put your money in gold and silver. You can't eat it. You can't drink it. Yeah, it's kind of dense. It's soft, though. And it's worthless when you're starving. How are you going to feed your kids with that? So,
I do believe that you should, if you have a decent amount of money in the bank and you want to invest in something, you should obviously have food and guns and all that. But a little bit of gold and silver is never a bad thing to have. I don't think you should put all of your stuff in gold and silver and then not have anything to defend that gold and silver. That would be mighty retarded. You might as well just hand it over.
Right, but I'm saying, most people that listen, I know most of my audience, and I'm sure most of yours, don't exactly have a lot of money to invest in gold and silver.
Exactly.
And they're not independently wealthy. So what you have to do first is, take care of the home front.
Well, yeah, you take care of your regular needs first, and then if you have savings and stuff left over, I would suggest
don't put it in the bank.
Well, yeah, don't put it in the bank. First of all, if you're going to keep it in cash hidden somewhere. Otherwise, then maybe take like 50% of it and do buy some gold and silver, because what will happen was when the dollar crashes, you'll be able to get almost anything for a silver coin or a gold coin for a period of time, because gold, even though it is like you consider a just a hunk of metal, the one thing about gold or silver. And like I said, not to have a huge pile of it with nothing to protect yourself. Obviously, Joe is accurate when he says, guns, food. Because if you don't have anything to survive, that gold's really not worth jack if, you got no food. If you got no guns to protect the gold, the gold's not really worth anything now, is it?
Right.
Don't think that guns will be cheap when all hell breaks loose. Guns and bullets and seeds will be like the three things that people want. Batteries, right. People will want. So take care of your stuff, like with flashlights and emergency preparedness and stuff like that. But myself, I would personally say have a little bit of gold and silver, at least if you have extra money left over once you take care of the stuff, then it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of that.
Prepared, right.
But I wouldn't take – I know what Joe means. You get Glenn Beck pushing gold line, all of a sudden like it's going out of style. Oh, my God. Put all your money in gold. No, first go shopping. Buy what you need.
Exactly.
And then afterwards, with whatever you have left over, then if you want to put that in gold or silver, tear it up if you don't trust the dollar. That's fine. Eventually, silver's going to shoot up, and gold's going to shoot up even more. The reason why silver is so low, around like it's usually between like 34 and 38 or 39 bucks, is because J.P. Morgan keeps artificially lowering the price.
Yeah.
And stifling it. And what's going to happen with silver one day is they're not going to be able to do that anymore, and it's going to go whoosh. It's going to jump overnight. But
here's a question.
If that's when you want to sell, that's when you sell for whatever, because at least you're going to, But then in reality, that's all relative to the fact that that's just the value of the dollar devaluing anyway and dropping like a rock.
I was going to say, but the question is gold worth more or is the dollar worth less?
Well, eventually, when the dollar drops, the gold and silver will really be worth what their quote unquote, pardon the pun, weight in gold when the dollar finally drops. Because when the dollar isn't worth the paper it's printed on, the only thing with any sort of intrinsic value will be the silver or gold, and everybody will be scrambling to get it. So having a bunch of it saved up for a future date, and who knows, along the way, there is going to be times where silver spikes, even if it's for a day or 2 days. So
sure.
If silver jumps all of a sudden overnight $30 or $40, you run out and you take part of your silver and sell it. And then you'll see it come back down. But at that time, you've sold it when it was high. If you're going to, the key to investing in precious metals is to buy low, sell high. Okay? Just like pretty much any stock. I mean, that's what you would do with a regular stock. You would buy low, sell high, right? Mm-hmm. So same thing to do with gold. Wait in silver. Wait for the dips and then buy some. But I agree that you need ammo and bullets and
solar panels. And,
a solar power generator. If you can create your own
wood gasifier. Hello.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Get all that stuff first before you even worry about it.
If you have a house, I would suggest setting your house up. If you have $10,000 on the side, and you could either invest it in gold and silver, or you could, invest it all in gold and silver rather, or you could take a chunk of it and at least first get some guns, some ammo, some seeds, and all that stuff, some storable food. Look, with all hell breaks loose and society goes, just ape, you really think the bank's going to be like, well, you defaulted on your loan? They're not going to be at their bank, at their branch office to send you that letter that you defaulted on your loan, or to bitch to the police, because they're going to be too busy hiding from, the Mad Max style, lifestyle that's going to take over. That's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to do to us.
Yeah, and even before that, I would buy soil before then. And when I mean that, I don't mean like go buy bags of soil. And you should have some of that stacked away anyway, just in case. But land. You can't. The value of land is dropping like a rock.
Especially right now, because the price. Everybody's like, but if you bought land, it. I don't get it. Why would you buy land? The price of real estate, dude. F the house, F the building. It's the property it sits on.
Yes, it's like gold.
You could tilt the ground up. Dig down 3 or 4 feet, make a 20-foot by 15-foot rectangle in the dirt, 3-4 feet deep, dump fresh topsoil on it. You've now got a massive, fresh garden that can sustain you for all your needs and your family's needs. And you don't need to go to Food Town or A&P or Publix or whatever the name of your food. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm going to get back into playing this clip. I know I didn't play it last round because Joe and I were ranting. So, as promised, I will pick up again with Celente. You're going to hear him. He just started, when we stopped it, he started talking about who Corzine was. So, and then I played it, and then I we only got a few seconds into.
It's tough. It's tough to get through it because it's just so.
I know. Joe gets so frustrated. He's like, raw. So here we go again. Joe versus Gerald Celente. Take 3.
Goldman Sachs guy, by the way. It's all connected. The head of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Gary Gensler, that's supposed to be overseeing this, a former Goldman Sachs guy. So let's go back to what happened now. This Corzine was trading, as they report, 40-1. You go to the casino, you go with $1, but because the guys in the game, they let you bet $40. And that's what he was doing, over leveraging and that global
Come
betting
on.
Go ahead, Joe.
Fractional reserve banking. Okay. That's no new news. You knew that was going on, so why the hell would you be subject to it? That's the thing I don't understand. He's talking about it like, oh, it's some big surprise. It's been going on for how many years now? Oh, let's see, let's count. 1913 to 100 years. 100 freaking years. I mean, come on, dude. This is crazy. So, let me also say this. These frickin' crooks are doing nothing now to hide their shenanigans. Why? Because they have their police state set up. Because they have you under their thumb. I think there was a sheriff down in Texas that's now flying drones over to monitor the citizens. They have all the infrastructure in place. What the hell do they care? And what's funny is there's a great YouTube video that sums this all up for you people. It's called The Tiny Dot, and I'm going to put it in the chat room right now. Watch it at your leisure, because the power lies with us, with the people. Why, you say? Well, there's roughly 100 million taxpayers in the United States of America. How many bureaucrats are there? Add the IRS to that. And add whatever portion of police and or military would actually go along with enforcing any sort of action against the American people. We outnumber them like crazy. Think about it. We have the power. They don't. But they make us feel like we don't. And every time there's a nation, or every time people feel empowered, they feel compelled to take them out. Look at Gaddafi. Now, I'm not saying
because they're afraid of them, Joe.
Exactly. It's fear. It's absolute fear. But we're at a point now in our existence on this planet where people are coming around. They're waking up. And I'm not talking about the sheep, the people that are involved that want their NFL and that are crying and singing the blues because the NBA is still on lockout. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people like you, like Popeye, like Bob Tuskin, I had to throw it out there. But it's true. We're understanding more now than we ever have before. We're seeing things that we've never seen before. The light is being shined on this evil, on this darkness. It's coming around, and they aren't going to be able to get away with it for much longer. Pretty soon, the peasants are going to get pissed off and grab their pitchforks and shove it up their ass. So Gerald
Well, that's
Celente,
why they have the police officers and the FEMA camps and everything else, because they understand that eventually the natives are going to get restless and angry and come get them, and they're afraid. Fear.
Absolutely. So Gerald Celente, I'm sorry you got burnt, but you played with fire. And
Okay,
that's what
well, let's see what else he has to say. Too bad he can't comment back to you. I would love to get you and Celente on and just, MC a debate. I'd be like, go.
Steel cage.
You know, those ones that are sky high now and racking the whole region. So, the company's going bankrupt. They have essentially $40 billion that he's dealing with. They can't find $600 million. Now, I'm not good at math, but maybe you're better than I am. So you figure it out.
Apparently
Let's say
so.
now
Well, you want to rip on him?
Oh, I'm just kind of giving a little
okay.
sound
I'll keep
effects
going.
as we go.
I just wasn't sure.
No,
sure
I'll
if
tell
you
you
had
to
anything.
stop. I'll tell you to stop.
Cool. Go ahead. You can make fun of him. Go ahead. I don't care. It's free speech.
ME Group, who runs the futures exchange, they made up $300 million of that $600 shortfall. So now there's $300 million missing from $40 billion. Not a lot of dough. What? 1%? 0.5%? What is it? I mean, you do the math. They're tying up all this money because $300 million is missing? Give me a break. They're giving us the shaft. I've been blown out of my positions now, a couple of them for December already. So now, by the way, as this all comes together, you want to talk about dirty deals. This is it. That SOB Corzine walks free. You do something a little bit against the law, man, you're in the slammer like that. Not this fat cat. He's walking around still giving the screws.
All right, stop it.
And that's what's going on.
Okay, but you're dealing with the mafia. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the frickin' mob. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, come on, dude. And I would love it, because you want to know something, folks? He says the same thing for years and years and years and years and years. It's been the same old crap over and over and over. You want to know why I never asked Celente to come on my show? Because you've heard what he had to say 300 times already. I mean, I could pull something out of my butt and be accurate. I could tell you what trends are going to happen. Yeah, we're going to hell in a handbasket. There you go. Unless the people wake up, we're finished. How's that? Europe, you're screwed. China, you're screwed too. Because without us consumers, ain't nobody going to buy your stuff. So guess what? I'm a trends researcher too. But I'll tell you this. I also see a trend. I see inflation going like crazy. As a matter of fact, right now it's running about 10%, 10.5%. If you calculate it pre-1980 standards, when they said, oh man, inflation's like through the roof. We better come up with some way to try and bamboozle the people into thinking it's better than it is. Like the government accounting office and the and all these other shill government agencies that put out these fake numbers just to keep the masses numb. If it's not people eating toothpaste, it's hearing these freaking fake numbers from these government agencies, and then people like Celente saying that it's all going to come down. Everything's going to be, everything's this and that. And I told you this and I told you that. Well, I told you this. You keep investing in gold and silver through these frickin' schmucktoids like MF Global and Goldman Sachs, you're going to get burnt. Period. End of story. You want to go buy gold and silver? Go buy it. But go buy physical gold and silver down at your gold bullion dealer. Get it in your hand.
Agree. Go to your local coin guy and buy silver coins and gold coins from him. And if you talk to him and you're nice, he'll probably give you a good deal, pretty much, maybe a buck or two above spot. And I know people that have gone and done it and to their local, places, and they've told me that a lot of times the local guys won't even charge you any tax because you might pay in cash. So if it's not an electronic transfer, Uncle Sam doesn't have to know about it, does he? So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about not paying taxes on it. Go support your local coin shop, okay? F Gold Line. And F Glenn Beck. Yeah, Glenn Beck should be eating toothpaste. He probably does eat toothpaste.
Eat toothpaste. Yeah. Yeah.
Moron.
Yeah, he swallows.
Yeah, he does. More than just toothpaste. When you suck Satan off, eventually you're going to get something on your face. All right, we're going to break.
That's the end of hour one. Holy mackerel, man. It was quick.
It's real pathetic that these guys worship their money the way they do. I mean, I know you need money to make things go, but, if people didn't worship it the way they did and didn't treat money as a god, and there's a reason for that, you should go check out my interview with Mark Passio.
Do it!
You'll learn a few things. Check out Mark's site, too. What on earth is happening.com. Check out my site, too, federaljack.com.
Woohoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a few minutes for hour number 2. Hanging out with my buddy Joe. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is hour number 2.
Dos.
Joe took Gerald Celente out to the woodshed during the break. And there will be no more hearing from Gerald Celente because Joe took care of him.
He's really not even wasting. It was nice to spend an hour bashing him because, I'm sorry to say it, he's a freaking douchebag. But all that aside, there's much more important news going on in the world.
Well, did you hear about this? The bunch of sheriffs rising up against the federal government, telling the federal government that you don't have jurisdiction in our counties, and if you send the federal agents into the counties, we're going to arrest you or arrest them.
Dude, is that not like some of the best news that we've had in a long time? I mean, this is just fantastic. Sheriffs finally saying, "Oh man, we get it. That's right. This is quote. I had spent a good part of my life enforcing the penal code." He said penal. "But not understanding my oath of office. I was ignorant and naive, but now I know of the assault against our people by the federal government." This is a sheriff. This is awesome. There's 8 of them in California that are speaking about this. They're from California and Oregon. There you go. So, I mean, this is huge, Popeye. I mean, this is great.
Dude, they're going around and they're talking like, how Richard Mack does it? They're doing the same thing.
Yes.
But now you have 8 of them together, so it's spreading.
It is spreading. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, my wife found one of their videos on YouTube. So it's an hour-long video. I'm going to post it on the Freedom Link Radio as soon as I can rip it, just so people can see this. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, some of the things that they're saying. It almost brings a tear to my eye because I thought for sure, and we still may be screwed beyond all repair. But if the sheriffs are able to do this and take the power back that they have, because they have it, just like we all have it. We all have this power. We just need to wield it. Earlier in the chat room, I saw somebody talking about Ron Paul. How come, he needs to bring charges up against Eric Holder or whatever. Yeah, if Ron Paul doesn't do it, though, we need to do it. We need to do it. The American people need to do it. And if our bureaucrats, our non-representing representatives aren't going to do it, it's up to us.
Well,
So
that's our job.
We go out to the
It says so in
woodshed.
the Declaration of Independence. That's the instruction manual.
That's right. Everybody should have at least 100 feet of rope. Put that on your survival list. I mean, not only
Ready?
do you need it for survival.
And already pre-stretched.
Yes, or like parachute cord. That's some pretty strong stuff.
You can just
This is ridiculous.
look, if you want to do things real quick, you could just put some chicken wire and kick them off a chair. I mean, it won't be clean. It's going to be messy, but it'll get the job done.
I'll tell you what. All it's going to take is a couple of examples. That's it.
Dude, you televise it, and you let them all know what's coming.
Do it like
And-
Chop Chop Square in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Dude, you charge pay-per-view for all over the world. You only got to charge like $5 or $10. Dude, you'd get rid of the national debt by like number 5. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You'd start making money.
I know, man. I know. But that's my point. Is you start doling out punishment like that, they will stop quick. Dead in their tracks. But it's going to take the people. And if the people aren't behind it, we're screwed. We're finished. You have to realize the power
We need to get set of balls, dude.
That's
People
it.
need to
I
get
mean,
set of balls.
we have it. We got to wield it, though. We got to wield that power.
Well, people, these people not only need to be held accountable, and I don't mean just putting a YouTube video up and going, look, man, we called out this politician, yeah, because that doesn't do anything. Yeah, it makes the guy look like an ass and exposes him, but it really doesn't stop them.
No, but drawing and quartering somebody would.
Well, they need to be held accountable. First, we need to, once these sheriffs get on board, see, I'm going to be interested to see if they start arresting government officials, federal government officials, which they need to be. Yeah. I wholeheartely agree with arresting most of these people.
Yep. I mean, treason.
Scumbag. He's a turd. And for him to sit there and, I feel so bad about, that border agent's family. Okay, Eric. Yeah, you feel real bad. Liar. You and Jat Napolitano both should be tried.
They're heartless, man. They're heartless. And that's the thing, is they show no emotion. They're just sick, twisted, evil people. They're evil. Yeah, that's right. I hope, they're recording
What
our
kind of
conversation.
sociopaths are they, dude, that they sit there and they're like,
Freaking narcissists, man. Just all of them. All of them.
They
and it's
just
sick.
see a smug look on their face. They sit there,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry that he met his death. That's just it. Unless it affects them directly. One of the things that I believe truly is that if you have the power, if you have a son or daughter that's eligible to serve in the military, and you're a member of Congress, you can't, unless, it's a serious, declaration of war by the Constitution, you can't vote to appropriate any money to any of these illegal wars unless your children are over there fighting. Do it.
Well,
Just they don't do it.
Have these sheriffs stand up, like John from Contra Scum. He's in the chat room. He's been a guest on my show a couple of times. He said Eric Holder is the justice system. He won't arrest anybody. That's right. That's why these sheriffs need to stand up and take care of business.
That's right. And us too.
The sheriff in the county that he resides in, where his personal residence in, should arrest him.
Should arrest him for treason.
Should wait till 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, like they do with everybody else, right? While he's sleeping at home. And just go in and kick his door in. These sheriff SWAT teams are real good. They know what to do. They got the equipment. They got armored trucks and cars with gun ports on it.
That's
Have
right.
at it.
And then something else? Then you start a de jure grand jury, and you have a nice little public trial, and then you send them right up the little platform, up to the top, where the rope is, where the noose is. You put them in there. To hell with a frickin' hood and anything else like that. Down you go. If you're lucky, it'll break your neck.
Well, Chris Steiner, he's from Tampa, and he's a whatchamacallit. I want to say activist, but he's more than just that. He's a really good guy too. He's a cool dude. but he's in the chat room right now, and he made a good point. He said behind every great sheriff is a good posse.
Damn right.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
And
we
I'll
need
be honest
to
with you, dude.
go talk to our sheriffs and form a posse. Could you imagine if the sheriff, his deputies, and the posse all got together and to go drop some whoop ass on Eric Holder at like 4 o'clock in the morning?
You know, if I was a sheriff, that would be the first thing I would do. Is I would probably keep like 2 deputies, but the rest I would augment with a posse. And think about all the money you save.
Create posses. You could have like 2 deputies with each posse. You know how many people? You know how many dirt bags you could clean up, especially if you get a posse with like.
If you had to.
For a posse.
If you had to, but of course, you know what that does is it limits the power of that law enforcement. Because what are you going to do? How many speed traps can you set up with 2 deputies? Normally, you know, you could only call out the posse if need be, like if there's a real problem. But like for speed traps and all that, no. Nope. It just takes away a lot of that corruption, a lot of that slave master mentality. Because there's no time for that. There's only 3 of you. I don't know, man. I'm very emboldened by what I see with those sheriffs. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it fills you with like, you know, gives you fire under your rear end. Because it's like, yes, you know, these guys are going to stand up and do something. Damn it.
Yeah. Amen to that.
I know what that means.
I feel like doing the river dance all of a sudden. I can't figure out why.
This is Irish getting drunk music right here. That's what this is, buddy. This is Irish drunk fighting music. That's right. I'm showing off my Mick. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back.
Man, all of a sudden I have the incredible urge to beatbox.
I'd let you try to beatbox against my friend LMS. I think he'd take you, though. He's pretty good.
I think you're right.
He's pretty good, dude. I've seen him battle people. I hate to break the news to you, Joe, but I think he'd bury you, buddy.
That's all right, man. Sometimes it's cool.
No offense, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think beatboxing is your thing, homie. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm sure too, man. Matter of fact, I'm positive. Ain't no way. Sure? But it'd be cool to be buried by somebody like that guy when it comes to beatboxing. Just to go and do it, you know?
LMS is a cool dude. I've seen him perform live and stuff. He's a good friend of mine, but I've seen him perform live. He has one of our older, the original FederalJack.com T-shirts. He's got one of the originals on in the video for that song. He's wearing he's got that and an old WWF T-shirt, the New World Order T-shirts. Yeah, the NWO T-shirts. He's wearing that, and then it's between that and the old FederalJack.com T-shirt. The song's called "It's All a Dream." Just in case anybody wants to know, you can look it up on iTunes or YouTube. I almost said iTube or YouTube.
Especially if you got that gangsta going, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? Check this out. This is in the city I used to live in Florida down here. Okay. Lauderhill, Florida. Check this story out. I told you about this off air a little bit. Check this out.
Christopher Beeger. In Monday morning was 30-year-old Christopher Beeger. The Lauderhill police officer arrested, police say, for firing nearly 10 rounds at another Lauderhill police officer trying to kill her. After that, police say he'd drive his pickup truck 16 miles to, of all places, this pizza shop and order 2 slices. That's him in the red shirt.
I see him walking back and forth. Right. And then, like a little bit later, the police call and says, lock the door, go in the back, stay away from the window.
This is cell phone video moments before Beeger.
You see the SWAT team coming in the back door. I mean, dude, fully geared up, sheriff SWAT team, fully geared up.
They ordered the lights turned off,
balaclava over the face and everything.
Wow.
They go in and they rush to go get this dude. He's on his cell phone. That's how they tracked him. Everybody was like, how'd they track him so fast? They monitored his cell phone.
Brittany Skinner was in her police car and in uniform at this plaza on Oakland Park Boulevard when people heard shots.
So he drove up while she's in her squad car and was just like pop, 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 pop. First of all, that goes to show you how crappy of a shot this cop is. 10 shots.
Most cops in general, dude, there's been such budget cuts that they don't even get allotted ammo to practice anymore. So, I mean, and you see how much cops get paid. Entry-level cop in New York City is getting somewhere around $26,000 a year. That's awful.
Dude, I swear to God, I really, I swear, like, it's cop on cop now. Now, this had obviously a little bit of personal edge to it because they were on the same shift and they were dating and then they broke up. So then he tried to kill her. That's a real good guy to have on your police department with a badge and a gun. Whoever hired him, good job. Seriously. I mean, does anybody do a background? Like, do you guys monitor? I mean, I know you guys do psychological testing, but you see what happens when you hire the psychos? They start to act like psychos.
Well, weren't they like romantically involved?
Yeah, they were dating. They were on the same shift together, and they were dating. They broke up, and he got mad, so he tried to kill her. Then this guy can't hit her. I mean, I'm not saying that he should have killed her or anything, but wow, it goes to show you that this guy who's a cop who has a badge and a gun, and probably not probably, in their eyes, the law's eyes, he can just kill you, And this dude can't hit the broadside of a barn. Apparently, one bullet. I don't know if it went through the glass of the door, but it went. Into the car, hit the seat, and then hit her. But it hit her, it got lodged in her bulletproof vest because she was wearing a vest. So, ridiculous, man.
I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of that as time progresses. And it's not so much because there's more to the dysfunctionality, I guess you could say. There are a lot of people with a lot of pressure, cops, regular civilians, active duty military. I mean, money just isn't going as far as it used to. And it's going to come a point in time, dude, where Americans are going to start to be the people with nothing to lose. And when that happens, the world as we know it, our local world, our country, is going to change and change drastically and change fast. And it's coming. That's why I always say don't worry about gold and silver until you get everything else squared away first.
Yeah, get AJ squared away, and then worry about, buying silver and gold, because you're going to need that gun first, trust me.
God knows. I mean, they lie to us.
In a state where you carry, because I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Honestly, you break into my house, you're going to get shot repeatedly, multiple times, in the face,
New York Post,
chest.
New York, just shooting everything. Good Lord.
No,
city braces for tens of...
Double tap to the chest and one to the forehead to make sure your lights are out.
Absolutely,
this is
man.
like the horror movies where the guy gets up at the last minute to pick the gun up. I don't have to worry about that.
Says New York Post, city braces for tens of thousands of protesters set to march on the financial district. They're monitoring social networks. So they know or can tell, based on the chatter, get a good idea of how many people are showing up. They arrested a protester because he was threatening to throw a Molotov cocktail through Goldman Sachs. I mean, this is... You think that the stuff in Greece that happens in Greece can't happen here? It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You can only piss people off so much before they can't freaking take it anymore, and they take the power back. And that's what's starting to happen. And I don't care if it's lefties or whoever. The whole left-right paradigm thing's a big, giant farce anyway. But those people out there are actually standing up for what they believe in. And they're doing the only thing...
Whether you agree with what they're saying or not, I know some of them are being steered in the wrong direction, but...
Right.
But their rights are being stymied. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, they used LRADs on Occupy Wall Street.
Yep.
That's right. They used a weapon that was designed for Iraq on citizens in the United States. And you know what? This isn't the first time. The first time was the G20 in Pittsburgh.
And what you saw the kind of event and overstepping of police power there was there. I mean, look at this. They've militarized the police. I mean, especially in New York City, to the point where they're more militarized than our military. I mean, think about it. Is that what police are supposed to be? Is that what they're supposed to do?
Why does the NYPD, who is notorious for having like one of the corruptest police departments, okay?
Yeah.
Why do they have anti-aircraft missiles? They said they have a way of shooting down incoming planes. Okay.
They have Stingers.
And they were like, well, you have rocket shoulder-launched missiles? And he was like, well, I'm not going to get into it. Well, what else would you have, Ray? Okay?
Yeah, it's Stingers.
Of course. Look, Ray, what are you going to have that the military doesn't, already have? What do you think you got shoulder-fired like rail guns and stuff? No. They got Stinger missiles. They'll put them up on one of the tallest buildings in the place, which, if there is another terror attack, will probably be their little new Freedom Tower. And they'll have their officers stand up at the top, and they'll be like Bruce Willis in an action movie or whoever in an action movie. Oh, I've got it! I'm going to save the world. Whoosh! Fire the rocket. Whoosh, off the rocket goes. Oh, look, I saved the world! Yay!
And there was much rejoicing.
We don't live in a retarded Hollywood wannabe action movie, ladies and gentlemen. We live in reality, and I really don't think the NYPD should have shoulder-fired missiles. Look how they behave. We're going to break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Joe and I are hanging out, and we're fired up about a few things, but I had to mention some of the, I guess you could say, stupider things in the news. SWAT teams going down to gun battles by the Mexican-U.S. border. That's interesting. At least the SWAT teams are finally going out and doing something, I guess, right? I mean, it's not really there. I mean, it's not, they have to be sent out by their higher-ups, but at least they're finally doing something. Maybe if we brought the military home from all these foreign wars of BS aggression and put them where they belong, like, on the Mexican border. Oh, but that's right. Then the liberals would be pissed because then the illegals wouldn't be able to come in. And, of course, it would not be nice not to let them in. After all, we have to let everybody in. Even though we do have a process of getting into the country, it's too hard. So they should just have the right to jump the border. And I understand that some of them come from hard times. I understand that. But my family on both sides were immigrants to this country, okay? Mm-hmm. At different times in the country's history. And both sets had to go through all the hoops to become citizens. So there's no reason that these people should get precedence over anybody else, or preference, I should say. There's no reason that somebody that's been on the waiting list 10 years, how of an insult is that? How much of an insult to them can that be? I'd be mad as hell. Are you kidding me? I'd be mad as hell.
Wow. There's some, how we were talking about EMP devices?
Oh, were you looking them up?
Yeah, I'm looking them up. See, electromagnetic EMP blaster gun.
Joe and I were talking about how you could bring back the cops down a little bit, to a little more equal, even keel, although they'd still have guns and batons, and mace. You could get rid of that taser and that radio real fast. And let me tell you something, you want to cause confusion amongst the drones, take away their radios. And don't let them have communication to their higher-ups. It's a military tactic. It's one of the ways we defeated the British. We didn't play fair. That's how we didn't defeat the British because we overpowered them. They were kicking our asses in like every, full frontal engagement like that. We won because we used guerrilla tactics, just like every other major war has been won with guerrilla tactics. Okay? That's how we won, using guerrilla tactics. We would shoot their officers from tree lines using snipers.
And guess
Guys
what?
that went out and hunted snipe. That's where the term sniper comes from. okay? And they use these marksmen, these riflemen, and these guys could, they could put a round up a flea's ass at 300 yards, and that's what they did. And they would take out the officers, and they would completely lose. The soldiers around him would completely lose all sort of, oh my God, all military bearing because their officer just got killed, and nobody would, the Marines train for this repetitively about how to overcome a situation like that because they understand the realities of war, and they train their men so that if something like that happens, the Marines won't be like, oh God, what do I do, and fall apart, because they know that's happened time and time again throughout history. So anyway, let me Joe and I came up with a good idea, an EMP weapon. You could take out the LRAD, you could take out the radios, and you would disable their tasers.
You know something? I want to point out, draw a parallel to what you said, because it's kind of important. During the Revolutionary War, it's true, guerrilla warfare won the war. And how did the British fight it? They stood in a line, and they advanced on you, and they pushed you. But that's how. Do you notice what the police do? They stand in a line, and they just walk down the street, and they corral you, and they push you. But if you're not all corralled like that, like a bunch of cattle, you're spread out everywhere, they can't get you. That's what guerrilla warfare is all about. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing that now with the way they behave. They're the British.
Well, dude, we never really. We had a sliver of independence for a short, brief period of time, but it's gone, and we are controlled by the very same people that controlled us before the revolution, without a doubt.
Yeah.
The United States, the corporation that is the United States, is a spin-off of the original company that was here that the Quakers represented, that was owned by the Queen, and I can't remember the name of the company right now for the life of me. It's something like the America Company or something like that. It's not the slave company. The East India Company. It's not them. It was, I want to say like I can't remember the name of it right now. Just look it up. But if you look out through history, you'll see that the United States is a corporation that was created in the 1800s, and it is a spin-off of this company that was, represented by the Puritans and all them that came over here and the Pilgrims, with Plymouth Rock and all that crap. They actually just weren't coming. History is like, well, they ran away from the Queen of England. No, that's not what happened. They came over here on their behest, and then they were like, you guys aren't here, or at their behest, I should say. And they said to the Queen and to the King, or at the Queen wasn't around back then. It was the King of England. And they said to King George, F you, I'm not paying these taxes. You and these British politicians are out of your effing minds. We're over here surviving this wilderness, crappy winters, no food, Indians, all this other stuff. We're getting we get attacked by the natives, we gotta survive all, cholera and dysentery, whatever else, the flu, whatever the hell else they had, right? They had to find food, they had to rough it. And then these British politicians are like, we want you to pay restitution for living there. And they're like, what? What? How about you eat me? Okay? I'm not paying you any money for being here. No, we want our taxes because we want to live opulent lifestyles, and you slaves are going to give us your money. And they, it was a bunch of things, and it was getting angry on both sides. It was like it is now. And then they killed Crispus Attucks, and that was pretty much the start of the bloodshed in the Revolutionary War. And if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the first man to die in the Revolutionary War for freedom was a black man. Ooh, I think I just dropped a big bomb on everybody. Ooh, I bet you a lot of people are going to be like, oh, no way. They taught me that in high school. I can't believe they don't teach that stuff now.
You should have got controversial and said it was a Jew. Because then then all of it comes out. The chat room just lights up. Woo! Oh my God! Right. Joe.
Well, I mean, it's honest. The guy at Crispus Attucks, he was killed. And then it went downhill from there, and then it,
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how history just keeps, it's rewritten?
It's repeating itself.
all the time?
And they're pushing it, dude. They know. They know what's up. They understand what's going on.
It's like Paul Revere wasn't the one that rode all the way down to, all over the place. It was Israel Bissell. Wasn't Paul Revere. Paul Revere he rode about 3 blocks. It was Israel Bissell that did the midnight ride.
Exactly. But he rode like 98% of it, and then Paul Revere was like, I'll take care of the rest. The British are coming, ladies and gentlemen. Ha ha ha. The British are coming.
Because the jerk that wrote the jerk that wrote the poem. So, wow, man, I can't find anything that rhymes with Israel Bissell, but Paul Revere. Now that's kind of catchy.
That's exactly how it happened, though.
Yeah.
That's not like some fairy tale story. That's exactly what happened. The guy's name, they couldn't make it rhyme real well in a little story, in a little fancy limerick or whatever you want to call it. So they the midnight ride of Paul Revere. Blah. There was a few of them, and they did it in segments. You think Paul Revere wrote all that way, dude? Really?
That's what I'm saying. Of course.
Well, first of all, did you sit down? Anybody sit down and do the basic math? Did somebody sit down and go, let me do add the 1 and minus the 5, and how the hell did he ride that? You know what I'm saying? Didn't. He only wrote part of it. But this is the dumbing down of America. They don't teach. They give you like the pop culture version of it.
It's poop.
And then when they want to teach you the real history, they call it real history, and they call it the new history. And then they're like, Jefferson was a bad man. Washington was a bad man. People, go research for yourself. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
They killed my entire family, murdered and tortured, raped and pillaged. I was only 5 and I was the only surviving witness.
So here I am. And Popeye's not here. Folks, I want to thank everybody for hanging in there tonight. Last segment of Hour 1. I sure wish I knew where Popeye was or if I was live. Hour 2. Can anybody hear me out there? The sheriffs. In this last segment, I want to just reiterate how important the sheriffs are. These 8 sheriffs have really started something in California that could have a national repercussion. And if anybody wants to see them talk, there's a video called Sheriffs Stand Tall for the Constitution. Just go ahead and search that out on YouTube. I'll put it up on my channel for sure, the Freedom Link Radio, as soon as I can rip it. But folks, I mean seriously, we need to be the support behind them. We need to be their posse. And it's going to take us all. It's going to take each and every one of us. Now, watch that Tiny Dot video. Watch it and just understand that we outnumber them 1,000 to 1. All these elitists, everything, we outnumber them. You back yet?
Yeah, I'm back. That was interesting. All of a sudden, my internet went dead. Like everything. My computer was working and everything, but my
really?
My router just went.
My EMP device worked, dude?
You see? That was crazy.
That's power.
Well, honestly, that would work if you had an EMP device. That would be awesome, dude. You could get rid of those stupid pesky cameras wherever you went. And it wouldn't be like you were shooting anything out of your car, so you're not going to hurt anybody.
No.
Just drive around, whoop, burn a camera out. Whoop. Be great.
Imagine that in London, dude. They'd be flipping out. We don't have at least 3 camera angles on every citizen.
Please. Whenever something happens, the cameras don't work.
Conveniently, they work when...
They were down. They were changing the tapes. Right, sure.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You guys suck, just so you know, because every time something goes on, you know?
Hey, did you hear the other day that somebody shot the White House?
Dude, I don't believe that. It happened. I mean, I believe that it might have happened, but I believe that was a whole setup. Did you see the tattoo on the guy's neck that they arrested?
Yes.
It says in big letters, Israel, on his neck.
Of course.
I was looking at the tattoo, and I'm like, man, he's got a decent-looking tattoo. And I'm like, because I have tattoos. And I'm like, well, at least it's, you know, you can tell it was done somewhat decent. It's not too ghetto. And then I was looking at it, and I was like, no way. It says...
I think he's gone again.
I'm supposed to believe that's a coincidence. Right.
But I mean, seriously, dude, it says one bullet was lodged in a ballistic glass.
Oh, whatever, dude. I think they did that purposely while he was away. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it was
I mean, I should know.
Did you see the video footage from, apparently, I didn't know this, but back in maybe it happened, I just didn't remember. Back in 94, of course, the news wasn't as prolific as it is now, so there was no internet. Right. And I didn't watch the news. But there's video footage of some dude walking up with an assault rifle. And the thing's, dude, it's a fully automatic assault rifle. It's not like one of the, you know, it's not like one we can get where it's, you know, you pop, 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 pop. This guy's like, drr, 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 and he's shooting right at the White House, dude. And I'm like, wow. And then as he was changing magazines, some good, I don't know who it was, but some, you know, of course, the Secret Service doesn't get him, but maybe it was a undercover Secret Service, but some dude in like, you know, a regular old baseball, like high school jacket, varsity jacket, came up and tackled him while he was changing magazines. That's always when these guys get taken down, is when they're reloading. It's not like a video game where your shit reloads in like 3.5 seconds, dude. The guy's really struggling with it because he didn't practice beforehand, you know. Like my DI used to say, perfect practice makes perfect performance. Well, this guy didn't do that. He didn't sit there the night before practicing a few times with the empty magazine, you know, so he would at least have some muscle memory. No. Good job, dick. And he got tackled. But I never saw that video, and I was like, wow, dude, this guy's just opening fire at the front of the White House. And people are like running down the sidewalk. Ah! See, that's why if they had guns there, dude, if that were down here, somebody would have drawn their weapon and they would have had a perfect shot. The guy that was filming it, you know, conveniently there was a camera there. Who knows who the cameraman was? But the guy's filming it, and you see the guy running with the gun, and he runs right past the cameraman, never like aiming the gun at him or anything. And he's wearing a trench coat. Of course, the whole outfit looks fake, right? So the thing that the incident kind of looks staged. Maybe it was blanks. Who knows? But the guy comes running past, and everybody's running around all fearful and scared. If that were like in the South, or you know, a state where people carry, somebody should have and would have most likely drawn out a gun. And while his back was turned, dude, if I'm standing there and I see him firing at the White House like that, his back is to me, and he's just randomly firing, he's a threat. Without a doubt, he's got a firearm. He's unloading. He is a threat. He doesn't have to have his front to me. I don't have to give him the advantage of being able to kill me. I can shoot that mother effer dead right there. And believe me, I would have no compunction about shooting him. There would be no hesitation, I should say.
Not even a wee bit of guilt?
Dude, I would shoot that guy. I would make sure he was dead, and I would take his gun from him and kick his teeth out of his face. And then they'd be like, look, blanks. Why has the guy got an FBI ID? You know, I mean, that's how that would end up going.
Yeah, you know how that, yeah.
Huh? And then they'd be like,
they were shooting a movie, you idiot.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh, we were doing a drill. Oh, really? You know? Seriously, I mean, if you have a firearm, that's why you carry a firearm, man. For random acts like that. Because you never know. Could be really some guy who's pissed. Did you know they crashed a plane into the White House, too? Like a year before, it was in 94, both things happened. Like the one at the beginning, like one at the very end, I think.
Wow.
Like, yeah, dude, I didn't know this. I was like, some guy apparently he was mad over a domestic dispute, and he crashed his plane into the White House.
I don't remember that.
What? And it was a little like Cessna. How did that plane get into the White House, dude? Come on. There's no way.
Well, things were a little bit different then, man. I mean,
90s or not, there's no way. They had anti-aircraft defenses back then. And they
No
even
way.
talk. When I see a good movie, go about 9/11. Go see the movie Zero. Okay, go watch that movie. I think the guy was Italian that did it. You have to see the movie, dude. It's called Zero, an investigation into 9/11. It's on YouTube. You can find it real easily, or most of these video service provider thingamabobbers.
You know what's interesting?
Dude, I'm telling you, they explain in there that there's 3 rings around Washington.
Oh, right. No, yeah, absolutely, man.
Of air defense, and all 3 would have had to have simultaneously failed on the day of 9/11. So how does a couple years before a little Cessna get through all that very same protection?
You want to know what's interesting, man? I can't believe
crap.
I can't believe that the White House is as battle hardened as it is. It's supposed to be like this old, ancient, couple 100-year-old mansion. Yeah, with ballistic glass and everything. I'm sure that thing's built like a tank, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, dude, it's this little... I was like, wow. And they're like, he crashed the plane into it, because of some...
What they have to do, just like repaint it?
Whatever, and he was pissed. So I don't get like, I'm angry at my wife, so I'm going to crash a plane into the White House. What?
What if it's got like 36-inch thick concrete walls now, and
they were
probably
just trying to... If anything, if it wasn't real, if it was real, then it was real. But if it wasn't real, I think it would be used to set a precedent in people's minds.
Could very well be.
Could slide something into the White House or into lower Washington, like downtown Washington, like that, and not get shot out of the sky.
Yeah, could be.
So
I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, these guys do prepare for years in advance, and that's why it amazes me that we never had any. It doesn't amaze me. I know they're lying, but it amazes me that people. I should say it amazes me that people believe and buy we never had any idea that planes could be used as a weapon. Really? Apparently the Secret Service did, because a couple years before somebody rammed one into the White House. Oh, you controlled that. Oh. And I see, ladies and gentlemen, that we're almost out of time. And as we are, I noticed that Joe has dropped the link to that smoking gun article I talked about up the show.
I had to do it.
I will make sure I put the link in the video archive to disgust the listeners that didn't get to hear this live.
Oh, man. Awful.
Joe,
absolutely
thanks for coming.
Atrocious. Hey, I love it. Anytime, man.
I'm glad you're able to come on and vent about Gerald Celente.
Yeah, good. Let's keep the streak alive tomorrow night.
Marathon sessions, ladies and gentlemen. Marathon. That's it for tonight. We are out of time, as always. Even 2 hours isn't enough time. Never enough time. That's right. I'm sure I'll be on tomorrow night with Joe. So.
Yeah, probably so. Good night, folks.
Listening, and